There are 7 mountains that define elite mountaineering. Standing on the highest point of each continent is the ultimate challenge for climbers worldwide. But here's what most people don't realize. These 7 summits aren't even close to equal in difficulty. Some can be climbed by fit hikers with determination. Others demand years of technical experience and will test you in ways you can't imagine until you're up there, fighting for every breath. Today, we're ranking all 7 summits from easiest to most extreme. We'll cover the real costs, the actual risks, and what it truly takes to stand on top of each continent. By the end, you'll know exactly which mountain to start with and which one only the most experienced should ever attempt. Let's begin with the most accessible continental summit on Earth. Number 7, Mount Kosciuszko, the easiest of the 7 summits, is located in Australia. It rises to 2,228 meters, or 7,310 feet. Kosciuszko is the highest peak in mainland Australia, situated in the snowy mountains of New South Wales. It is where most climbers start their 7 summits quest, and for good reason. The approach is straightforward. You can drive to Charlotte Pass, which sits at 1,760 meters, meaning you begin more than 3/4 of the way up. From there, a well-maintained walking track covers about 18 kilometers round trip, with an elevation gain of only 468 meters from the trailhead. This is a hiking experience, not a climb. There is no scrambling, no ropes, no ice axes. The path is wide, clearly marked, and regularly maintained. In summer, thousands of tourists walk the route, including families with children. No mountaineering experience is required. Nearly 100% of those who attempt it succeed, and most people complete the round trip in 5 to 7 hours. You can literally summit one of the 7 summits in a single day, drive back to civilization, and sleep in a hotel that same night. The cost is minimal. Park entry is around $30 Australian. If you are flying in from overseas, budget $2,000 to $3,000 US total, most of which is just getting to Australia. Weather can change quickly in the mountains, even here, with snow and wind possible outside the summer months. Compared with everything else on this list, Kosciuszko is essentially risk-free. Anyone with basic fitness can summit Kosciuszko. If you can walk for several hours at a moderate pace, you are ready. This is the perfect starting point for the 7 Summits Challenge because it builds confidence and lets you check one continent off the list with minimal commitment. Now, there is a debate worth mentioning. Some climbers argue that the true summit of the Australian continental plate is actually Puncak Jaya in Papua, Indonesia, which sits at 4,884 meters and requires technical rock climbing. That mountain appears later in our ranking. For now, we are using the traditional 7 summits list. Mount Kilimanjaro, located in Tanzania, rises to 5,895 meters, or 19,341 feet. From Australia, we move to Africa, and a mountain that is dramatically more challenging. Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest peak in Africa and the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. Unlike Kosciuszko, altitude becomes a serious factor here. Kilimanjaro is still considered a trekking peak, meaning no technical climbing is required on the standard routes. But do not let that fool you. Altitude sickness is the main reason people fail on Kilimanjaro, and it affects climbers of all fitness levels. You go from near sea level to nearly 6,000 meters in less than a week. The most popular routes are Marangu, Mashame, and Lemosho. Marangu is often called the Coca-Cola route because it is considered the easiest, with hut accommodation instead of camping. But easier does not mean easy. Mashame, the whiskey route, is more scenic and has better acclimatization, which is why success rates are slightly higher despite being more physically demanding. Lemosho is the longest route, giving climbers the most time to adjust to altitude. The terrain varies from rainforest to alpine desert to glacial zones. The final push to Uhuru Peak involves steep scree slopes, and at altitude every step feels like 10. You will need trekking poles, proper boots, and warm clothing, but no ropes or ice axes on standard routes. Success rates average around 65%, but this varies significantly by route and operator. Morang has the lowest success rate, often below 50% because it is too fast for proper acclimatization. Limosho and Machame push success rates closer to 75% to 85% with good operators. Most routes take 6 to 8 days. The longer routes give you more time to acclimatize, which dramatically improves your chances. Summit day starts around midnight, and you will climb through the night to reach Uhuru Peak at sunrise. Expect to pay between $2,000 and $4,000 for the climb itself, depending on the route and operator. This includes park fees, guides, porters, food, and camping equipment. Tanzania requires all climbers to use registered guides, so you cannot do this solo. Altitude sickness is the primary danger. At Kilimanjaro's summit, oxygen levels are roughly half what they are at sea level. Your body struggles to adapt, and symptoms include headaches, nausea, dizziness, and confusion. In severe cases, fluid can accumulate in the lungs or brain, creating life-threatening emergencies called high-altitude pulmonary edema and high-altitude cerebral edema. Proper acclimatization is critical, which is why longer routes are worth the extra cost. Anyone in good physical condition with hiking experience can attempt Kilimanjaro. You do not need mountaineering skills, but you do need to be comfortable walking for several hours a day at altitude. If you have never experienced altitude sickness, Kilimanjaro will teach you what it feels like. This is where the 7 Summits Challenge starts getting real. Number 5. Mount Elbrus. Location, Russia. Height, 5,642 meters or 18,510 feet. Next, we head to Europe, or more accurately, the border between Europe and Asia. Mount Elbrus is the highest peak in Europe if you define Europe's boundary as the Caucasus Mountains. It's a dormant volcano with twin summits, and the western summit is slightly higher. Elbrus is where technical mountaineering skills start becoming necessary. This isn't just a high-altitude trek anymore. You'll be dealing with glaciers, crevasses, and conditions that can turn deadly fast. The route from the south side is straightforward in good conditions, but you'll need to know how to use crampons and an ice axe. Roped glacier travel is essential because crevasses are everywhere, some hidden beneath snow bridges. Fixed ropes are often installed on the steeper sections, but don't count on them being in good condition. Success rates hover around 80% from the south side in summer. However, weather is unpredictable, and storms can shut down summit attempts for days. The north side is more remote and technical, with success rates dropping significantly. Most expeditions take 8 to 10 days, including acclimatization climbs. The summit push from the barrel huts at 3,800 meters to the top and back takes 10 to 14 hours. You'll use a snowcat or chairlift to reach the huts, which makes logistics easier, but doesn't reduce the difficulty of summit day. Elbrus is surprisingly affordable compared to other 7 summits. Expect to pay $2,500 to $4,500 for a guided expedition, including permits, accommodation, food, and mountain guides. Logistics can be complicated, and Russia's political situation has made travel more complex in recent years. Weather is the biggest killer on Elbrus. Storms arrive suddenly, and whiteout conditions make navigation impossible. More climbers die on Elbrus than on any other European mountain, with estimates around 15 to 30 deaths per year. The infrastructure is aging, and rescue capabilities are limited compared to Western mountains. You should be comfortable using crampons and an ice axe, understand glacier travel, and have experience in winter conditions. If you've done alpine climbs in the Alps or Cascades, you're ready for Elbrus. But don't underestimate this mountain. The combination of altitude, weather, and limited support makes it far more serious than Kilimanjaro. Number 4. Aconcagua. Location, Argentina. Height, 6,961 meters or 22,838 feet. From Europe, we travel to South America and the highest peak outside of Asia. Aconcagua dominates the Andes near the Chilean border, and this is where altitude becomes genuinely extreme. At nearly 7,000 meters, Aconcagua approaches what mountaineers call the death zone. Oxygen levels drop to around 40% of sea level. Your body can still acclimatize, but the margin for error becomes razor thin. Aconcagua is often called the highest trek in the world because the normal route doesn't require technical climbing. But make no mistake, this mountain demands everything you have. The altitude, the weight of your pack, and the sheer length of the expedition make Aconcagua brutally exhausting. The normal route, also called the Northwest route, is the most popular. It's non-technical, but extremely long and exposed. The Polish glacier route on the east side is shorter, but requires glacier travel and some technical climbing. The south face is a serious alpine climb, reserved for expert mountaineers. The normal route has low technical difficulty, but it's logistically demanding. You'll establish multiple camps, carry heavy loads, and spend weeks at altitude. The final push from Camp 3 at 5,900 meters to the summit involves steep scree and rock scrambling, all while fighting severe altitude effects. Success rates average around 30% to 40%. Many climbers underestimate how their bodies will respond above 6,000 meters. Even experienced mountaineers struggle here. Most expeditions take 18 to 21 days, including trekking to base camp, establishing higher camps, acclimatization, summit attempt, and descent. You'll likely make multiple carries to higher camps, sleeping low and climbing high to adjust to the altitude. Aconcagua is expensive. Permits alone cost $400 to $1,000 depending on the season. Guided expeditions range from $5,000 to $12,000 depending on group size, support, and logistics. You'll also need specialized high-altitude gear, including a 4-season tent, extreme cold weather clothing, and mountaineering boots rated for high altitude. Weather is notoriously violent. Winds can exceed 100 kilometers per hour, and temperatures drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius or lower. Frostbite is common, and climbers have been killed by rockfall, avalanches, and sudden storms. You should have summited multiple peaks above 5,000 meters and understand how your body responds to altitude. Physical fitness is essential because you'll be carrying heavy loads at extreme elevation. Many climbers use Aconcagua as training for Everest, which tells you everything about the commitment required. Number 3. Denali location, Alaska, United States. Height, 6,190 meters or 20,310 feet. From South America, we fly north to Alaska in a mountain that redefines what extreme means. Denali, formerly known as Mount McKinley, is the highest peak in North America. And while it's shorter than Aconcagua, don't let the numbers fool you. Denali is colder, more isolated, and more technically demanding than any mountain we've covered so far. Denali's latitude means it experiences weather more brutal than peaks thousands of meters higher near the equator. The thin Arctic air makes it feel even higher than its actual elevation. Climbers often say Denali at 6,190 meters feels like being at 7,000 meters in the Himalayas. The West Buttress is the standard route, first climbed in 1951. It requires glacier travel, fixed rope climbing, and advanced mountaineering skills. You'll haul sleds across the Kahiltna Glacier, ascend steep snow slopes, and navigate technical terrain at extreme altitude and in extreme cold. You need to be proficient in glacier travel, crevasse rescue, ice axe arrest, and rope team movement. Fixed ropes on sections like the head wall require Jumariang skills. You'll also need to build snow walls around your camps to protect against wind, dig snow trenches for supplies, and manage complex logistics in brutal conditions. Success rates average around 50% to 60%. Weather is the biggest reason for failure. The mountain generates its own storms, and climbers can be tent-bound for a week or more. Rescue operations are difficult and expensive, and climbers are expected to be self-sufficient. Most expeditions take 17 to 21 days. You'll spend about 7 to 10 days climbing from base camp to high camp, with time built in for acclimatization and weather delays. Summit day from high camp at 5,200 meters to the top and back takes 12 to 18 hours. Denali is one of the most expensive 7 summits. The National Park Service climbing permit costs around $400. Guided expeditions range from $8,000 to $12,000 or more. You'll need specialized gear, including double mountaineering boots, extreme cold weather clothing rated for minus 40 degrees Celsius, and a 4-season expedition tent. The round-trip flight to Kahiltna Glacier costs about $700 per person. Cold is the dominant danger. Temperatures regularly drop below minus 40 degrees Celsius, and wind chill makes it far worse. Frostbite affects most climbers to some degree. Crevasses are hidden under snow bridges, and falls can be fatal. Medical evacuation requires a helicopter flight that can cost $10,000 to $20,000 or more. You should have significant cold weather and high-altitude experience. You should be comfortable leading on glaciers, performing crevasse rescues, and managing yourself in extreme conditions. Many climbers do courses on Rainier or in the Alaska Range before attempting Denali. If you haven't climbed in temperatures below -30 degrees Celsius, you're not ready for Denali. Location: Papua, Indonesia. Height: 4,884 meters or 16,024 feet. Now we reach the most controversial summit on the 7 summits list. This is the mountain at the center of the debate about Australia's true continental summit. Number 2, Carstensz Pyramid, also known as Puncak Jaya, sits on the Australian continental plate and replaces Kosciuszko for climbers who follow the geological definition. What makes Carstensz so extreme isn't altitude. At under 5,000 meters, it is the lowest peak among the top 3, but it is the most logistically complicated, politically sensitive, and technically demanding non-Himalayan summit on Earth. The standard route involves a multi-day jungle trek through one of the most remote rainforests on the planet, followed by technical rock climbing on loose limestone to the summit. You will need a military escort, special permits, and logistical support from local guides who know how to navigate both the terrain and the political situation. The climb itself is rated around 5.7 to 5.8 on the Yosemite decimal system, with sections of exposed scrambling on wet, loose rock. You must be comfortable with multi-pitch rock climbing, and many sections require fixed ropes. Conditions are often wet, making everything more difficult and dangerous. Success rates are difficult to estimate, but likely around 70% to 80% for those who reach the base. However, many expeditions never make it that far because of permit issues, political instability, or logistical breakdowns. Expeditions typically take 10 to 14 days, including the jungle approach, acclimatization, the climb, and the return. Actual time depends heavily on permits and access, which can cause delays. This is where Carstensz becomes prohibitively expensive for most climbers. Expeditions cost between $15,000 and $35,000 US, largely due to helicopter access, military escorts, special permits, and the extreme remoteness of the region. Some operators offer a trekking approach through the jungle, which is cheaper but takes longer and involves significant risk from terrain and local conflicts. Political instability is the primary concern. Papua has a long history of separatist movements and military presence. Permits can be revoked suddenly, and access to the mountain is frequently closed for months at a time. The jungle approach involves river crossings, difficult terrain, and the possibility of encountering armed groups. On the climb itself, rockfall is a serious danger, and the rock is notoriously loose and unreliable. You need to be an expert rock climber with expedition experience and significant financial resources. You must be comfortable with multi-pitch climbing in poor conditions, and you must be flexible with timing because delays and cancellations are common. Many climbers consider Carstensz the most frustrating summit on the 7 summits list, not because of difficulty but because of the political and logistical barriers. Number 1, Mount Everest, the most extreme. Location: Nepal and Tibet. Height: 8,849 meters or 29,032 feet. And now we arrive at number 1. Mount Everest needs no introduction. This is the mountain that defines elite mountaineering, the ultimate test of endurance, skill, and survival at the edge of human capability. Everest's altitude alone places it in a category beyond anything else on this list. Above 8,000 meters, you enter the death zone, where oxygen levels drop to just 1/3 of sea level. The human body cannot survive here indefinitely, no matter how fit or acclimatized you are. Cells die faster than they can regenerate. Every moment spent above this altitude is your body slowly shutting down. The standard route from Nepal via the South Col is the most popular, pioneered by Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay in 1953. The route from Tibet via the North Col is less crowded but equally dangerous. Both involve weeks of acclimatization, multiple camps, technical climbing sections, and exposure to extreme altitude, cold, and weather. The difficulty ranges from moderate to high, depending on route and conditions. The South Col route requires navigating the Khumbu Icy Fall, one of the most dangerous sections of any mountain on Earth. The icefall is a constantly moving glacier that shifts by up to 1 meter per day. Aluminum ladders span crevasses hundreds of feet deep. Ice towers the size of buildings collapse without warning. You'll cross this section multiple times during the expedition, and every crossing is a calculated gamble. Beyond the icefall, the Lhotse face involves steep ice climbing with fixed ropes. The summit ridge includes the Hillary Step, or the newer rock bypass, followed by exposed ridge walking, where one mistake means a fatal fall thousands of feet down either side. Success rates have improved to around 90% in recent years on commercial expeditions from Nepal, but this number is misleading. It includes only those who reach the death zone. Many climbers turn back lower on the mountain and aren't included in statistics. Deaths have decreased with better weather forecasting, more support, and supplemental oxygen, but Everest still kills around 5 to 10 climbers every year. Total deaths exceed 335. Everest expeditions take 60 to 70 days from arrival in Kathmandu to return. You'll spend weeks acclimatizing, making rotations to higher camps, waiting for weather windows, and preparing for the summit day. Summit day from Camp 4 at 8,000 meters to the top and back takes 12 to 18 hours, most of it in the death zone. Everest is the most expensive summit on the 7 summits list. Permits from Nepal cost $11,000 per person, and Tibet permits are around $9,000. Guided commercial expeditions range from $45,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on support level, oxygen bottles, Sherpa assistance, and logistics. You'll also need specialized high-altitude gear, insurance that covers extreme altitude rescue, and travel costs. Total expenses easily exceed $70,000 for most climbers. Everything about Everest is dangerous. Avalanches sweep the slopes without warning. Frostbite is almost guaranteed on summit day, and many climbers lose fingers or toes. Exhaustion at extreme altitude impairs judgment, leading to fatal mistakes. Crowding on the fixed ropes creates bottlenecks where climbers wait in the death zone, burning through oxygen and energy. Weather can change in minutes, trapping climbers in whiteout conditions where navigation becomes impossible. Only the most experienced high-altitude mountaineers with significant financial resources should attempt Everest. You should have climbed multiple 8,000-meter peaks, understand how your body responds to extreme altitude, and be prepared for the possibility that you might not return. Everest is not a goal for beginners, and it is not a mountain to attempt without years of preparation. Many climbers spend a decade building experience before they are ready. From a single-day walk in Australia to a 2-month battle for survival in the Himalayas, the 7 summits represent the full spectrum of mountaineering challenges. If you're starting this journey, build your experience progressively. Don't skip steps. Each summit teaches you something essential for the next one. The 7 summits aren't just about ticking boxes. They're about understanding your limits, respecting the mountains, and knowing when to turn back. Every summit on this list has killed climbers who underestimated what it takes to stand on top. Which summit would you attempt first? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more content on extreme mountaineering, and I'll see you on the next climb.